Well, there's no turning back now. Hey y'all, I'm Nisha, and this is my podcast, Speak On It, the podcast where we'll tackle topics from anime to activism all in one place. I'm a millennial that enjoys ruining the housing market by eating avocado toast in spite and drinking an ice cold LaCroix. I love supporting artists, creatives, and anyone else in between that's promoting positive things. I wanted to make a show where people can have a space to talk about what they love and are passionate about and what they're doing. So every episode, I'll try to have a guest to speak on it, the it being their thing, whatever that may be. And we'll have a discussion while also squeezing in other topics like nerddom, entertainment, and current events. You can subscribe to the show on Apple Podcast, and you can follow at SOI_pod on Twitter to stay tuned. Thanks for listening. See you soon.
FX presents the Indoob podcast with your host, T. Sterling Watson.
Good morning, Indoobians. I'm T. Sterling Watson.
And I'm Courtney.
This is the Indoob podcast. Thank you for stopping by and pressing play. This is episode number 67. It is in the beginning stages of February, Black History Month, and Black Panther Month. Just great. Yeah. What a long year it's been already. But hey, we've got a special guest with us today.
Oh, who do we have?
We have royalty herself. We have April Rain. I was trying to think of more things to say, but there's just so much.
On the spot. Like, how do you come up with such greatness on the spot, right?
Once you start with royalty, it's all downhill from there. So that's fine. Thank you. It's quite a bit to live up to.
Well, you've got quite just remarkable things you've done. You've with Oscars So White hashtag and changing the way that Oscars are now looked at. I mean, even for me, like of course, that particular year that happened, of course, I noticed, but that it was just right on and it changed a lot of things now. So thank you.
Oh, well, you're welcome. Thank you. I mean, we still have a lot of work left to be done, this year, obviously included. But I think we're in the 2 steps forward, 1.5 steps back formation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but at the very least, I think what you've done, April, is bring visibility to an ongoing issue. And I feel like it's only gaining more traction. So at the very least, at least there's some kind of spotlight to something that has been going on for too long and that absolutely needs to be addressed. It continually addressed. So at the very least, there's that.
Well, I appreciate that. I mean, I think, the fact that the hashtag and the campaign or the movement or whatever you want to call it, is now in its 4th year and people are still talking about it. Oscar So White comes up every award season now. And not just with the Oscars anymore. We've seen Grammy So White and Grammy So Male and so it's really taken off. And I think that just speaks to the power of social media. I'm not saying anything that people like Harry Belafonte and, I'm sure Paul Robeson, and so many people decades and decades before me have said. It's just that I was able to use this platform in a new way to call attention to the issues of the lack of representation of marginalized communities in entertainment generally.
Yes. Yeah. And it's greatly appreciated just that it's starting and there's a change afoot. I got ahead of myself. We still didn't really talk about who you are. So if because I keep in mind sometimes my parents, because I told them, hey, I'm talking to April Rain, and like we don't know who that is. So I did tell them.
Parents.
I work with them. I do. But other listeners, because I know there are other ones out there who still they don't know everybody that we know. But if you could just tell us just a little bit about who you are and what you do.
Sure. I'll go back several years. I practiced law for about 20 years. I walked away from that because there was a lack of creativity in the work that I was doing. I was a writer and an editor for a while. And then I created this crazy little hashtag called Oscars So White in January of 2015 on social media, which called attention to, at that year, the lack of actors and actresses, and also those behind the camera. It was just an incredibly homogenous group. You know, there were no people of color nominated that year. And in fact, it was repeated in 2016. There were no people of color nominated for Best Actor, Actress, or Supporting Actor and Actress. And so one time it's a supposed fluke, two times it's a pattern. And so we really saw this take off in 2016. And since then, Oscars So White has broadened from just, you know, that particular award show to a larger conversation about the lack of marginalized communities in entertainment. And that's both media, news, and entertainment, right? So we can talk about the lack of Black journalists, you know, the lack of Black podcasts like you guys, you know, and it's incredibly pervasive. So when I'm not on Twitter stirring up trouble, I am also the Senior Director of Marketing for Fractured Atlas, which is a nonprofit tech company that removes practical barriers for artists to create a more agile and resilient cultural ecosystem.
Wow.
That's a new gig for you, right?
Yes, that just started at the beginning of 2018, and it has been amazing because basically my job is to help artists get and keep more of their money. So it's you know, and so it was a natural outgrowth from all of the stuff in the entertainment industry I was doing. So with Fractured Atlas, you know, if you are, let's say you're a playwright and you've written this great play, but you still live in your mom's basement and you don't know how to get people to see this play. If you're a member of Fractured Atlas, we will help you find a space, you know, a theater. We will help you get property and casualty insurance, so in case somebody slips and falls behind the curtain, you know, you won't have to live in your mom's basement forever. You know, we will help you sell tickets, so you don't have to do Eventbrite or, you know, brown paper tickets or something like that. And then we also, most importantly, help with fiscal sponsorship, which allows people, because we are a nonprofit, a 501c3, corporations and foundations and organizations can donate to us, whereas they may not be able to donate to individuals, and it's tax deductible for them, and then you can apply for fiscal sponsorship and get some of that money. So it's a great job. It is if I could have crafted a job out of whole cloth, this would have been it. You know, and so I love being sort of a brand evangelist like this.
Wow.
That's awesome. Congratulations.
Yes, congratulations.
Thank you. And I got that job from Twitter, I should say. So,
wow.
Yeah, they literally, you know, I created the Women of Color Affirmation hashtag in response to some of the stuff that was going on. And I just wanted to sort of uplift women and have them affirm themselves and each other. And someone, you know, said, oh, April, you know, you did a great job here. Somebody needs to affirm you for this. And I said, oh, I appreciate it. Somebody needs to give me a job, you know, doing this thing, because the Women of Color affirmation was trending internationally. And I said, okay, well, you know, great, but somebody needs to hire me to do this for their brands, their organizations. And someone from Fractured Atlas responded to that tweet and dropped a link to an open call for a marketing director, and said, you know, let's talk. And 2 months later, I was hired.
Wow. I would maybe say is like a...
I mean, when they say it's just Twitter or whatever, it's like, okay, Pam.
I'm telling you, every time I get that, because it's stories like yours and even my own experiences. I've met some of my best friends on Twitter, and you're talking to one of them, Sterling.
Hey.
Yeah, we met each other on Twitter, and we're here. We are, however many years later, still awesome friends. We have a podcast. And we do other stuff. So I'm with you on that. It's not just a platform. It's not just Twitter. It's opportunities and it's relationships and come on. It's a movement,
right. Yeah, and it's the way that you use it.
Sure.
People say that they don't understand it, whatever, but it really is about how you curate your timeline, the people that you follow, the people that you interact with. But I agree with you. My closest friends now are folks that I met originally on Twitter, and some of them I still haven't physically met, and yet we talk all the time, in group chat or what have you offline. But some of them, I'm traveling. I'm going on a week-long trip to Europe. We're going to go support Meghan Markle for her wedding to Prince Harry. And one of my girlfriends said, you know what, let's go. And I said, yes, let's go. So we're going to spend a week in Europe, in London, and in a couple of other countries as well. And again, that's someone that I met on Twitter who I didn't even know who she was 2 years ago, and we're going to be sharing a bathroom. So
wow.
It's great.
Wow.
And I'll just throw it out there now. There's one other hashtag that you created that just seems to fit in with rainy day jobs, which I see every once in a while. I guess you are amplifying other people who are looking for work or looking to be hired for work.
Yes. So it goes both ways. I created rainy day jobs. I don't even remember when now, a year ago, maybe two, because I recognize that I have this large platform, right? I have an obscene number of followers. I think we're at 126,000 now.
Wow.
And my thought is, well, I need to do something with that, right? And there's so many people who have tried LinkedIn and Indeed and Glassdoor and all the rest of them. But I'm like, well, there are organizations on Twitter who are advertising about their jobs, right? And then there are folks who are actively looking for work. So why don't I put the two together? So people use the rainy day jobs hashtag, and then once a week I go through looking for that hashtag and just retweeting. So if you only have a couple of hundred followers, but you are, you're a creative, a freelance writer, a journalist living in Virginia, willing to relocate, whatever, I can take that one tweet of yours, and instead of it going to your 200 or 300 followers, it'll now go to potentially 120,000 followers. And people have actually gotten jobs that way. So I'm very proud of that.
Wow.
That is pretty awesome.
That is. I do have one more question for you, since you probably have several along the way, but since you are a first-time guest on the Indoob podcast, I have a question I ask all my first-time guests, and I feel like you might be able to make this happen should they want to. I like to pretend I have connections with Ben and Jerry's, but let's just say Ben and Jerry calls you up one day and they're like, "Hey, we need a new flavor." So you come up with the flavor and the name. What is the flavor that you would choose?
See, I'm not a big 47 things in my ice cream kind of person. So it would probably be, like a vanilla, and this might even exist, a whole bean vanilla ice cream. So like real vanilla with, significant amounts of bittersweet chocolate, not milk chocolate, because I think that's for children. And
what?
Listen,
my gosh.
White chocolate, I don't understand what that is. Milk chocolate is for those under 18. Dark chocolate is for grown-ups. That's the rule.
Come on. I was on your side until you said that.
I mean, I don't make that up. If you look at all the little bunnies for Easter coming up, they're all milk chocolate. Why is that?
Get out.
Sorry.
You can leave now. You can go.
Sorry, Courtney.
No, April, you're fine. You're fine. Stay where you
are. So, vanilla bean ice cream, dark chocolate or bittersweet chocolate shavings, maybe some crunched up waffle cone in there, and maybe a splash of mint. So, you know what? And let me tell you something that someone told me. I can't take credit for this, but again, vanilla bean ice cream, crushed thin mints, frozen Thin Mints,
yes.
and a splash of Kahlua. Again, that's for the grown folks.
Grown folks.
But I am told that is amazing. So what would that be? I don't know, April's Adventure or something? I like alliteration.
I like that.
I love it.
That's pretty good on the spot, though.
It's
probably not on the spot. I'm sure you thought about this, though, right?
No, this is brand new.
Okay,
that's where I go.
The one with the splash of Kahlua, I'm sure they will have a Ben & Jerry's After Dark. So if you name that one.
There you go.
Ooh, yeah. Oh.
Yeah, I mean, but that was, you having a nice dinner party or whatever, and you should always keep Thin Mints in your freezer year round. I believe in that strongly.
I agree with you
but
there.
If you're having a grown-up dinner party and then afterwards, you bring out your cute little dessert glasses and you splash the Kahlua on there, you are the hostess with the mostest.
Mm. Okay, so I guess I'm just going to put myself out there for a second. I'm not. Maybe it's not grown up, but I had gingerbread cookies in the freezer because I heard that they last longer that way. So I'm not sure if that's. I know they're not Thin Mints, but
that's not Thin Mints though. She said Thin Mints though.
I'll give it to you. I think most cookies last longer in the freezer. Now, do you crumble them or you just eat them out of the package sort of whole?
I just eat them out of the package because what happens is during Christmas time, Pepperidge Farms comes out these gingerbread families.
Yes.
So I like to stock
gingerbread families.
Yeah. And then I tear the families apart. I go for the
tearing up homes. Tearing
You're
up
a
homes.
homewrecker. Gotcha.
Right.
Okay. You're like DPS or something. Got it.
Just terrible. I know. But
did you say BTS?
I can neither confirm nor deny.
Oh, you're right though. You're absolutely right.
We'll play it back and rewind and see what she really said. But yeah, I'd had several of them, and then I recently found one that I don't know what year I bought it, so I just threw it away because I'm like, I can't. This is, I mean, the fact that it might have been there over 2 years, it's too long. So
yeah, that's too long.
I just let it go.
Probably was.
Yeah, good to know. And keep cookies, unless they're soft cookies, then they have to stay pretty much at room temperature because I don't really want to reheat those. But I prefer, cookies that have to either be like if I'm buying pre-made cookie dough, then keep it in the freezer. Maybe bake it halfway so they're like nice and gooey in the middle, crispy in the middle.
Absolutely. Yep.
Which reminds me, I have to go to the store and get some more. Should never be out of cookie dough.
You never know when you have a cookie dough emergency. You come home, you've had a hard day of work, you need a spoon. Yeah. And
exactly.
It's your favorite TV show. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. That, or maybe you just want, and I've gotten to, I think, Twitter battles about this, but maybe you just want 5 cookies. Maybe just 5 or 3.
Okay.
What?
So you're saying you can't make 12 and put the other 9 or 7 away? I'm confused.
Correct. Like you just want just a few. You don't want to have a whole bunch. Because then sometimes if you live with other people, they might want some too. And you don't really want to share.
Right. Ain't nobody got time for that.
Yeah.
I mean, no, we can share. I'm sorry. That's the wrong.
It is the wrong.
You guys, I'm in a mood today. That's the wrong thing to say. I'm really sorry.
Is it? Because I have children and hide food on the regular. So let me know that, and all parents do that. All parents
you can do it. You just I mean, just saying it like that maybe is not super kosher. So yeah, listen, I'm just trying to be PC around here.
Okay.
I was just going to say you're trying to be better.
I'm trying to be better than y'all.
Now, I know one of the reasons why you keep Thin Mints in the freezer is because the kids aren't going to find them there. But you didn't hear that from me.
Okay, I thought it was just because it enhanced like their taste, and because Thin Mints are just awesome. But
right,
cold cookies, why not? Right?
Yeah, no, it's also that, and when they're frozen, it makes it easier to crumble over the aforementioned ice cream. But the third reason is, in fact, because the kids won't look there. They'll only look in the pantry or the cupboard or wherever you keep the rest of the cookies.
Oh, that's smart.
I love that idea.
Okay. Yeah, I like that.
Mm-hmm.
Gonna have to steal it.
See, I was going to go all elaborate and then put the cookies in some other unassuming box. Like, I don't know, box of like dry macaroni noodles or something.
Right, or vegetables that they'll never touch. I mean, there are many ways to go. It just depends what kind of freezer how deep your freezer is,
right?
And
Can
whether
you hide
want
it
to
behind something?
dig in there. Absolutely.
Or you have a secret cupboard where you open one door, then you have to open another one to get to where the real stuff is.
I've seen commercials like that, and depending on how old your kids are, if you can just put it over the stove or something where they would have to get up on something, then that makes
right. Got it. I'm jotting down notes. Okay, this is wonderful information. Okay, well, we're going to take a quick break, and when we return, we'll come back with our Black History fact and possibly some Sheboygan news. We'll see, but we'll be right back.
Hi, my name is Ramona, and I'm the founder of Snacks for Thought. Snacks for Thought is a podcast designed to encourage your heart, challenge your thinking, and motivate you to action, but ultimately draw you closer to God. With only 4 to 5 minute episodes, you will hear topics ranging from struggling with your faith to hearing God's voice and everything in between. Snacks for Thought can be downloaded free on iTunes and can also be found on podomatic.com. Just search for Snacks, the number 4, and Thought to enjoy a snack for the day.
Hi, I'm Magdalena, the podcast host of Lil Minimal Lovin', because I am such a Lil Minimal lover, where we will discuss little things, but also the big things. Learn about this new trendy minimalism movement, what it is and what it isn't, and whether it's for you. And just come over, just for a laugh, maybe, or just a two. All right, see you at Lil Minimal Lovin'. Also, where I will not be able to pronounce everything I will be able to say, lilminimal11.podbean.com.
And welcome back to the Indoob podcast. That was a fantastic break.
Yes, welcome back, everybody.
That's
perfect timing.
I played the wrong one, but that's okay. It's all good. So let's get into our Black History fact.
Black History.
Black History.
Black History. Facts.
By the way, I can hear it this time now. So last episode, I was playing them and I had to wait for either you, Courtney, or somebody to let me know. I was like, hey, stop playing now. I'm like, okay, good.
Sounds good. I like it.
Thank you. Those are some lovely singers too, by the way, aren't they? They're great.
Yeah.
I'm assuming that was y'all.
It was me.
It was him. Yeah.
Oh, just Sterling. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a couple times. Yeah. Okay. Our Black History fact today. Do either of you heard of this woman named Viola Davis by any chance?
Vaguely.
A little bit. Sounds kind of familiar.
She's like an engineer or something.
Yeah, she
Got it.
Worked very, very hard. But no, assuming we all know this other queen of screen and stage, she's the first to be nominated for an Oscar 3 times and only triple crown of acting, or only Black actor who has the triple crown of acting. That was actually the first thing that kind of popped out at me. I've never heard of that term. I've heard of EGOT, which is the Emmy, Grammy, Oscar, Tony. But the triple crown of acting is Oscar, Emmy, Tony. So she's the only Black actor who has that distinct honor. And I found that through some random Wikipedia search because I was looking for something else. I'm like, ooh, what's this? And then found this. But I found some more fun information about her. Viola has an uncredited voice role in my favorite movie, my top favorite movie, Ocean's 11, as a parole board.
Really?
Yes. She is asking Danny Ocean questions at the very, very beginning of the movie. And I think there's like a few of them that they're not seen, but they're just talking to him, asking him questions. And I never knew that was her. And now I have yet another reason to watch this movie. Not that, I never really need a reason, but hey, here we are. But she's also worked with Steven Soderbergh a number of times and George Clooney on, Out of Sight, Solaris, Traffic, Sariana, She's also a cousin of Mike Coulter, better known as Luke Cage.
Really? Okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah. So nothing, huge or monumental. Well, I mean, she's a very huge, monumental person, very inspiring. I pretty much love anytime she's on a microphone talking about anything. She's just great. So that's a little extra information about Viola Davis, and may she continue. Yes.
I mean, I agree with you. I think that Viola Davis and Sterling K. Brown should win every single award every single time because they give the best acceptance speeches of all time.
They do. They really do. It's like they act like they become great actors just so they can give the acceptance speeches. I mean, because they're so inspirational every time and they're sincere.
Right.
I mean, I love
they
it.
seem to be off the cuff. Like, neither one of them ever has any notes, but they're really, really talking about important. They use their platform to speak out on important issues, knowing that the whole world is watching, and so I will always be grateful to both of them for that.
Me too. I'm almost on the verge of tears. I think even what was the last one Sterling won for? I'm not sure if it was an Emmy or it was a Globe, but just the passion and like he was holding back tears, and I think he actually cried later backstage. But I
think that one may have been the SAG Award, and I think he was the first African American male to ever win in that category. I think, but he won both the SAG and the Globe this year, so it's hard to remember. Yay, Sterling!
Yeah, and give it up to all the Sterlings out there. Great job. We're all doing great.
Great job. You're all doing great. I agree.
I would like to meet him. It is. But I just want a picture of, the two awesome Sterlings together. And, that's...
He did a little boomerang. I don't know if you saw, I want to say it was at the Globes, where the woman who plays his wife on This Is Us and his actual wife in real life, where each one of them was kissing his cheek. And he raises the eyebrow, in just that 2 seconds, and the caption just says "the wives," and it's just the best picture.
Wow, that's great! Wow, man, that's pretty awesome. So next we will get into our Sheboygan news, which will just be a weather report today. Hold on, we have a jingle for that as well.
Good morning, Sheboygan.
So there is no interesting news in Sheboygan. I've already checked. I'm not saying Sheboygan is a boring place. It's not. It's just nothing of interest that I care to talk about. So we'll talk about the weather. So the weather for Sheboygan for this week is mostly the same. It's going to be around 20 degrees. So it's pretty cold. Make sure you have your coat. It's going to be partly sunny for the next 3 to 4 days. It'll be mostly kind of cloudy with some rain and maybe some snow, because it'll get warmed up a little bit. So that is your week in Sheboygan. I really intend to one day send whoever the mayor is of Sheboygan a Good Morning Sheboygan mug, which can be found at the Indoob store. I have one.
So do all podcast guests get a Sheboygan mug, or is that wishful thinking?
Would you like one?
I mean, sure, why not?
Okay. Well, we'll
commemorate our time together.
Yes, definitely. We'll definitely we'll talk after the show, and we'll get you hooked up.
Fantastic.
So next we will get into the part I know quite a few people are waiting for, because I actually got quite a few questions, and they didn't know who my mystery guest of honor for this episode was. So this will be interesting. So here we go. We're going to go into our mailbag now. And of course, we have a jingle, which I'm going to give a shout out to Berto, because he loves this. And this is why he keeps supplying us with questions, just so I can play this jingle. So here we go.
Letters. Oh, we get letters. We get your letters every day. Mailman, mail today. Reach right in and pull one out. Those letters, I love those letters. Let's find out what you got to say. Oh boy! Mailman, mail today.
So yes, that is our letters theme. I did not create this one. This is something I found, and I'm like, oh my god, this is so corny. I have to use it. So,
the corniest, but the greatest at the same time.
It is. It
definitely has like a 1950s feel or something, like it's Acme Radio.
It does. In fact, the CD that I copied it from has a whole bunch of like icons that are from the 50s on it. So yeah, because that's where I got it from. So, man, I don't know. Trying to figure out which one to start with. Well, we'll start with Birdo because he's actually the first one that sent a question. And go. I've already got my answer for this one, so I'll go first while you guys think about it. But here's the question: what is a movie you watched at a young age that you definitely should not have been watching? And I actually had to think about it for a while. But for me, my parents or somebody in my family, they took me to see Boomerang when it first came out in theaters.
Wow!
Yikes!
Okay, how old were you?
Oh man, I should have this answer too. I feel like I was very, very young. I want to say I'm like 6. But
Ooh, wow.
I remember seeing some things on screen, some things that I was very confused about. I recently saw it on BET, and I think there's they were looking at the commercial of the new fragrance or perfume or something. And yeah, and it was that I know that's probably one scene that really confused me and probably kind of scared me as a really young.
Listen, that Strange commercial scares me to this day, and I'm 47 years old. Grace took that role and ran with it. Why she had to give birth to a perfume bottle, I will never understand.
But yeah, I was a little disturbed. I think I've turned out okay since seeing that. Well, okay, yeah, it's questionable, but
Courtney says it's debatable.
I don't know. Depends on who you ask.
Yeah.
I think mine would probably be Saturday Night Fever. And I'm not sure how old I was, but I'm almost positive I saw it in theater. So again, I'm 47, so that gives you some sense. But, you know, there were a lot of, as they say now, mature themes, including, you know, teen pregnancy and abortion and, you know, and John Travolta walking around in his Speedo and all stuff that the movie is from 1977, and I'm sure I saw it. I would have been 7 at that age, so I was probably under 10 when I saw it. And that was, you know, and there were also issues of suicide, you know, so there was a lot going on in that film.
Yeah.
In addition to, you know, great dancing and platform shoes. So I was probably too young to see that one for sure.
I saw, I think maybe half of it, like the last half of it recently, and I'm like, wait a second, I thought this was about dancing, and there's just so much more that's going on.
Right.
Courtney, do you have one?
I do have 2, actually. So the first one that comes to mind was It, the original It, with Tim Curry.
Nope.
Listen.
I can't. Nope.
Listen.
I don't do scary movies as a grown-up. So
Me neither. No, check it out. Neither do I. But I think the way I remember it is I was at an aunt's house, and so, you know, my cousins were over there. Somebody, I don't know if it was one of us or if it was my aunt, and maybe she fell asleep, or I can't remember the circumstances, but it was me and the cousins. And I remember seeing this dang clown on the screen. And I remember, like, I don't remember a lot of details from that movie. And no, I have not gone back to watch the movie. So I don't know what I actually saw. But I do remember seeing Tim Curry in true Tim Curry fashion, dressed as, or, you know, in costume as Pennywise. And I remember the gutter scene. I remember a bunch of like flashes of other things. I think I've tried to suppress most of it, but I remember that, and I remember another adult coming in and saying, "What are y'all watching?" And, you know, mayhem happened because we knew we weren't. Whoever was in charge as one of the cousins, they failed, and so like they were supposed to be the lookout or something, and they obviously failed. The second movie though is, and I remember this very well. I was at a sleepover. I was older this time, but I was at a sleepover and we were watching Candyman. And it was the scariest movie I had ever
Ever?
seen in my entire life. Listen, I think we actually got caught on that one, and like the parents, because I was 9. I remember that. I don't know why I remember my age, but I was 9, and the parents of whoever's house we were at, I think they knew I was scared because maybe I was one of the younger ones, or I was just a weenie and I like oozed it or something. And so they were like, what are y'all watching? Are y'all scaring her? Y'all turn that off, turn on something else. And of course they didn't. And I'm just like, well, don't do that, because I feel like I'm an outcast.
Yeah, they put you out there.
Yeah. But they did not turn the movie off, and it scared the bejesus out of me. And to this day, I cannot watch that movie.
I like psychological thrillers, but I don't like just horror movies and movies, where something jumps out of somewhere at you. I just have no interest in that entire genre. And it's just, the Oscar so white lady where I really should be watching all kinds of films. No, thank you. I'm good on that. If you want to nominate that for an award, feel free, but I'm never going to watch it.
You're in good company, because we pretty much have stated that we are both weenies, and we care not to be scared on purpose.
Not weenies. You are more selective in your entertainment viewing.
Okay, even better.
There we go. I like that.
You see?
More selective.
I like that.
Because we'll watch...
Very selective.
We'll watch certain movies that might be classified as horror. I'm putting quotes as if everyone can see that. But yeah. They're more like psychological thrillers.
Yeah, like Get Out,
I was just about to say.
Which I think, was the best movie of last year. That one I could watch a million times. And yeah, there was a little bit of gore in there, and some stuff jumped out of stuff. But it wasn't, but they were all real people. I think that's part of it for me, too.
Yeah.
Like I need them to be real people, not people dressed up as things or things that aren't really human or whatever.
I am still mustering up the courage to watch that movie, because I know that it's an important film. I've seen parts of it. I know the story frontwards and backwards, because that's what I do when I can't watch a movie. I just go research everything about it,
Same.
Including the plot. I mean, so I know the movie as if I'd seen it. I feel like, and I'm still mustering up the courage to actually watch it. I've got it on my DVR for that time when I'm ready to watch it. But I'm very selective in my viewing choices.
It's time. As a fellow weenie, if we have to use that term, it is time for you to sit down and watch. I mean, watch it with the lights on or whatever, but it's not. It really does just make you think more than anything else. And by the time you see the actual bloody stuff, it makes sense, and that's helpful,
Yeah.
So and you will also be able to sleep at night. Like Pennywise and It and Candyman and those kind of things. You're checking your closets and that kind of thing afterwards.
Yeah.
This is not that kind of movie.
Okay.
If anything, look
Are you
out for
sure? I don't know.
Yes,
for the white people,
you can trust me. Well, I mean, you may not want to go to work the next day. You may be avoiding folks at the water cooler, but nobody's going to be in your house.
Gotcha. Okay. Okay.
I mean, one thing that actually helps, and maybe we'll have to schedule this one day, is doing a live tweet of it, because I've actually been able to get through some like horror movies. Like they did Saturday Night Sci-Fi. I think they did Event Horizon, which is a movie.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I think I can add to my list as being one I may have seen too early as a kid. But again, I don't like scary movies in general, but I was able to get through it watching it with, a community of people. We made laughs and jokes. So I'm like, okay, it's not that bad. I still don't like it, but hey, it's not so bad. But Get Out is a good movie, so you will like it, and it's not scary, and it's good. It's great.
Yeah, and plus I think that it's such a good movie that if you invite over a friend or two to, be with you while you watch, almost anybody will say yes, because, everybody I know will see that movie again and again and again.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah,
I will complete this circle and actually watch this movie.
Excellent.
Great.
Do it for Black
Year
History
later.
Month. You have a Black history.
Right, that's true. So I need to truly honor Black history because it did make history, and it know how important this movie is. And I believe in it. And I support it. Just been supporting so far. A loving distance from it.
All right. We'll go to our next question now. And this comes from Tito, who asks Tito, who, and it's funny because I always seem to get some food related some food related question. So of course, thank you, Tito, for this.
Of course.
What constitutes a bad pizza? So
pineapple.
See,
Courtney and I cannot see. We just don't get along food wise. What's going on?
I mean, that's strike two. Like I thought you were. I thought we were
fine.
good. I mean,
Nope.
I thought we were on the same page. I mean, you said thin mints. You like thin mints, and a lot of people don't like them. So
but then I balanced it out with dark chocolate. Okay. Yeah, I don't.
That's true. That's true. I forgot about that already.
Fruit doesn't. Yeah, so it's like fruit does not belong on pizza. It doesn't.
Oh my gosh.
Unless we're talking tomatoes, and tomatoes are always very iffy about whether it's a fruit or a vegetable. So I understand that argument.
It's a veggie.
Yeah.
Oh well, that's
but
a whole.
It has seeds though, so technically.
Oh my goodness, April!
That's science. You can argue with Bill Nye on that one.
Hold up, I got Bill Nye's number. Let me call him up real quick. No, I don't. Wow, yes. Well, I guess tomatoes, if they feel like being a fruit one day, feel like being a vegetable another day, and just, it's whatever. But so pineapples, that's one answer of what constitutes as a bad pizza.
I would also say when you don't know how to reheat it well, because what I learned, I guess in high school, is that the best way to reheat the pizza is on very low heat in a flat bottom skillet with the lid on. That allows the crust to get crispy again. Yeah, it's serious. You do not put pizza in the microwave ever. So,
wow, do you do that? Is that how you heat up your pizza?
Every time.
Seriously?
Yep, because it tastes just like you just got it from, your favorite pizza shop. Because, you put it in the microwave, it's soggy, the crust isn't good anymore, and it's got hot spots on it. You put it very low heat in a flat bottom skillet with the lid on, and then that way the crust gets nice and crispy again. The cheese starts to bubble and get melty again, and it's absolutely perfect. And it's worth it. I mean, you know that you are going to want the pizza, so you're cooking it like you would cook anything else.
I typically put it back in the oven. I put it in the oven with a buttered pan and maybe like 10 minutes, I think.
On what temperature, though?
What temp?
I think it's like maybe 350 because I'm in a hurry.
Nope. You got to go higher because remember, pizza ovens go like up to 500 degrees. So you've got to go higher if you're going to do the oven to get the crust crispy again.
Yeah, it might be.
Pizza connoisseur.
Yeah. I'm clearly speaking with an expert here. See,
Man, y'all are schooling me. I just pop it in the microwave and keep on moving.
See, this is why your thoughts on milk chocolate and pineapple are invalid.
Too far, ma'am.
Nope.
Too far.
You invalidated yourself. Pizza in the microwave like a commoner. No, thank you, ma'am. You're not in college anymore. You have access to a stove.
I'm just greedy, and I don't want to wait 10 minutes. I want to wait 30 seconds and be good with it. And
then get yourself a frozen pizza then. If you're going to go that far down the list of how you enjoy your pizza, you might as well just get a DiGiorno's or whatever. Totino's, whatever that stuff is.
Yeah.
Although I shouldn't knock those because those got me through college, but still.
But that is a college meal, though.
Yeah, it is.
For sure. Yes, but you have evolved since then.
Have I?
I have.
It's just okay.
Well, see, no, maybe not milk chocolate. maybe
not. Man, the hits keep on hitting.
That's right. I want better for you, Courtney. I want better for you.
Come on. I'm feeling personally attacked.
Okay.
I'm offended.
Do you, April, do you have a specially tailored woman of color affirmation for Courtney with her food choices?
I mean, evolve. It is one word, evolve.
Oh man.
I want better for you, Courtney. There's better out there, and I want you to experience a full, enriched tapestry of pizza options.
I'll give you that. Okay, maybe I have been reheating my pizza incorrectly, but I will stand by pineapple pizza all day, every day. It's delicious. It gives you just enough. I know this is not the question, but it gives you just enough hint of sweetness and a little bit of tang to offset like the tomato sauce. And the butter. It's amazing. Why would I not? And then if you have like bits of ham on there.
So just a traditional Hawaiian pizza.
Yes. Yes. I mean, obviously you don't just put pineapples on. I mean, that's dumb. Like if you don't have the ham or some sort of meat to go with it, then what's the point? And I feel like
I think, but that is the point, though. If you cannot eat a pizza with just one ingredient, whatever that ingredient is, then that ingredient isn't worthy of being on a pizza. Like I can eat just a pepperoni pizza. I can eat just a sausage pizza. I don't need pepperoni and sausage. What you're saying is that you wouldn't eat just a pineapple pizza, and that tells me that it's not a standalone ingredient for a pizza.
No, that makes a lot of sense.
But technically, if you're eating if you're eating a sausage and pepperoni pizza, it's also got other ingredients. It's also got cheese. It's also got the sauce. Those are ingredients.
All pizzas have cheese and sauce, so those are givens. Don't even say it. Those are givens.
Nah, come on. Ham and pineapple go hand in hand. They are one with one another.
Ham and pineapple go hand in hand, the way peanut butter and jelly go hand in hand. Both are for children. Both are for children.
Oh, God. Oh, my gosh.
I'm feeling attacked now.
You're attacking PB&Js? What kind of are you?
Okay, first I will say that I'm allergic to peanuts, so I've never understood the...
So your opinion's a bit biased.
Well, I mean, sort of, but it's never even looked appetizing to me. Like when I was sitting across from my friends, I just remember, in grade school, and everybody takes out their lunches or whatever, and it was all mushed together, and the colors weren't right. It just looked gross to me, so I didn't even have to worry about tasting it. But so I never felt like I was missing anything.
I'm hankering for like a cold glass of milk now because of the way you just described it.
See, and that's another thing. I don't understand those foods that require milk to go with them that you can't eat with just about any beverage. I have concerns about them as well because I understand that cookies and milk go together, and and there are a couple of other things, but nah, I'm good.
There's nothing washes things like that down, like a good brownie or just I don't know.
Yes.
Milk.
I will remind you, the genius Prince said soy milk because cows are for calves. So if you're drinking that cow whole milk or 2% or whatever, you're not living up to the standards of the purple one.
I evolved.
What?
I want to say that I evolved. I drink almond milk. So.
Okay, that's something.
I dig it. Not
the
there
very
yet.
Philosophical answer of milk from Courtney.
Oh man.
That Courtney, that is what constitutes as a bad pizza, since you kind of
obviously
railed
not pineapple. I don't know. There's very few pizzas that I've come across that I didn't like.
Do you do either the Chicago or the New York style with respect to the crust? Either way you can go.
Yeah, honestly. I cannot honestly recall any. Now, when you go to do y'all know of CC's Pizza? Or just any
Really?
Yeah, it's
CC's, yes.
No,
we go there after my son's soccer games. Yes,
true. No. I'm not saying that that's quality. I'm just saying, how they have different made up quote unquote specialty pizzas. So how they just kind of throw stuff together. So every now and then, if I go to somewhere like that, or even another pizza joint and they just have like random ingredients on a pizza, sometimes that's a little weird, but honestly, I can't think of one particular one. I just feel like if you're just throwing a bunch of stuff on top of a pizza just to be, I don't know, original, and that's in air quotes, or unique or whatever, or different, then you can keep it. I don't know. I can't think of anything in particular that I'm just like, ugh, never again. I don't know. I'm not super picky with that. It's like pizza. I'm gonna have to think about this. It's gonna bother me until I figure it out.
Thank you for Tito for keeping Courtney up. It's not Candyman. It's not Pennywise. It's pineapple. That's going to make her lose hours of beauty rest tonight.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna have to figure this one out.
Who's ever had a bad pizza? So we'll have to come back with a special episode just so you can answer that question.
He always makes me think, though. I'll give him that. He always
thought provoking.
Yeah, and frustrating, but whatever. We love you, Tito.
Mm-hmm. And I don't think I've come across a pizza that was bad. There's pizzas I don't care for, and I've already been yelled at about this before with the other podcast on Food Fight. I don't really care for brick oven pizzas. I will eat them. I do eat them, but I just don't kind of care for the flat,
burnt, yeah,
the giant bubble, which everybody's like, "That's just air. Why are you so excited about it?" But I was reminded of a pizza place in Brewster, New York, which I forgot the name, but it's in a Home Depot Plaza, if that helps. But they make specialty pizzas like pretty much every day. So there's all different kinds. And I tried several of them and I can't remember any of them not really liking them. Like I'll try it. I'm like, well, it's okay. But would I eat it again? I don't know. The one that always comes to mind is they had, let's see, I think it was broccoli with beef, like you find in Chinese food. And they put that on the pizza, which I thought would be really weird, but it was actually really good. Like it was surprisingly good. Yeah. I think the one that I didn't care for the most or the least, whatever one maybe got the lowest grade, I'll put it that way, is the baked potato pizza. So that was... Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I've had that, and it wasn't super great.
Yeah.
Like I can not have it again, and I would be okay with that.
So yeah, that's my pizza.
I'm more of a traditionalist, I think. Give me like double pepperoni and I'm good. Because I'm thinking beef and broccoli I like separate, but I'm also thinking about having it with mozzarella cheese. And like if that was on my plate, with just beef and broccoli and then somebody shredded mozzarella cheese over top, I'm not sure that I would eat that. And so, but you say it wasn't bad. So, and I would actually think that the baked potato, because I do put cheese on my baked potato, would make more sense to me. But maybe there's a difference when it's at 500 degrees. I don't know.
Right. And I think of like potato, like how do they, the potatoes soggy? Yeah. That's a weird, I've had a hamburger. Like it was like, no, I'm sorry, it was a cheeseburger pizza. And you would think, well, it was the mustard that threw it off to me because it was an actual cheese, like they had the stuff
all
that you would make.
Yeah,
like mustard and of course the hamburger, beef, whatever. I don't know, ground beef. And even like sesame seeds. And it was a little off-putting because it's like if I wanted a flat cheeseburger, I would not want a flat cheeseburger.
I'll say they screwed that up by putting mustard on it. What is it, a pizza cheeseburger or something? All it really needs is the beef patty, mozzarella cheese, marinara, red sauce, whatever, and whatever toppings you might put on a pizza, like lettuce or maybe tomato.
But even then, okay, so that's my answer. Cheeseburger pizza.
With mustard.
With mustard, yes.
Our next question comes from Lori, who she kind of gave it to me, but didn't really necessarily mean it for the podcast, so I'm stealing it because she just asked this question. So, what would be the title of your biography?
So for me, it would probably and this is something I've been talking about more and more, it would be You Have Time. Because I'm having this conversation. I created Oscar So White when I was 44. And soon after that, I left my legal career of 20 years and became this entertainment person of sorts, from the outside of the industry, and everything changed, and so, I see so many people, especially millennials, who, they've got to get on that 30 under 30 list, and they've got to have a home by this age, and they have to have a kid by this age, and oh my God, 33 is coming up, and that's my Jesus year. And so I don't know if they think they're going to get crucified if they don't, I don't know. But so I say to folks all the time, what do you think is going to happen if you don't accomplish these things by that particular day? And it's so random that, why 33 and not 34? Why is it that, you're turning 29 and you think that's a horrible thing? Now, and I will say, at 29, I was pregnant with our first child. We had our own home. I have a car. I've been working for 5 years. And so I was doing that thing that, they say in America that you're supposed to do, but I did not become happy in my career professionally and really figure out what I wanted to do until my early to mid 40s, right? And so my story is that you have time. You don't have to, have it all figured. It's great if you do, but it's okay if you don't have it all figured out by X age.
Say it, girl. And I love it because you just earlier in the show talked to us about your new job and how, you said it, if you could create a job, if you could design a job or a career for yourself, this will be it. And just a little bit after that, you told us that you're 47. I love that.
Right. And the interesting thing is that my job, even the type of job that I have, didn't exist when I was in my 20s, and so I think that's something, for a while there, my business card said digital media strategist. Like, what the hell is, what is that? That's just something that I made up, and it's true because of the stuff that I did, but, I'm from the age before the internet, my goodness. And so, when I was going to high school and, knew I wanted to go to college, for professional women back then, when I'm talking late 80s, early 90s, you wanted to be a professional woman, you were either an engineer, a doctor, or a lawyer, or an accountant. And that was pretty much it. And now you literally can create whatever occupation is you want, in part because of social media, because there are all these different things that are available to you that weren't available, 20 or 30 years ago. And so that's why I think, I tell folks all the time, figure out what it is that you want to do, that you would do for free. Don't ever do it for free, but figure it out, and then work toward making that your actual career, even if it has to at least initially start out as your side hustle. You're doing that 9 to 5 so that you can, so that you can pay your rent or your mortgage, but work toward making your avocation, that thing you love, your full-time job.
That was great.
That was chapter 1 of my book. You have time.
Yeah, we have to pay to buy the rest, and I definitely will be in line to get my book signed, please.
Yeah, you can just take my money now. Write the book.
Man, I do have more questions, but we are running out of time, so I apologize, Carolyn, and I have to put in Parisas because she got it in the last minute. She was our last guest, and I want to kind of start a thing, which with each guest, if they give me a question to ask my next guest. So April, afterwards, I will ask you a question, or you can ask me a question.
No, do them. I'll give you one-word answers. Give us the last couple.
Well, okay, because her question is a long one. So here we go. If you could put together a 5-course meal, each part represented by someone on social media with you, who would be the appetizer, the soup, the salad, the entree, and the dessert?
Oh, girl,
Yeah.
what? I mean, like I can tell you the 5 people that I would want to have at my dinner, but that's too deep for me to figure out. Okay, who do I want to be the end? Who is the sweet one, right? And you know, who is the really hearty one that I want to be my meat and potatoes or whatever. That's an all day. That's the one that's going to keep me up at night.
Yeah, it is, and I'm like, wow, that's a heavy one. It's like, yeah.
But see, now your listeners can think about that on their own, and it's not a wasted question.
True. So, and with that said, I will say you can tweet me those answers, who you would pick. I wish I'll come up with a hashtag and kind of tweet that later, and so we can track the answers and present that next episode or episode after that. The other question, which should be an easier one, a one answer or one word. This is from Carolyn. What was your favorite show growing up?
Maybe Facts of Life.
Yes. Finally, a right answer, April.
Well, part of that is because, I grew up in a predominantly white environment. And so when that Kim Fields, Tootie, and I are just about the same age. So everybody used to call me Tootie all the time. So that's why it was fresh in my mind.
I think mine
That was a great show.
Mine might have been Family Matters growing up. I think it was my appointment TV every Friday night.
Yeah, Alex P. Keaton.
Yes.
That was great.
And yours, Courtney?
I would have to agree with Family Matters. The whole TGI Friday lineup, with Boy Meets World and stuff. I don't know.
And I've recently gone down a rabbit hole watching those.
Yeah.
Like just their intros and everything. Oh, memories of my youth. But now we must close the mailbag and take another quick break. So 2 jingles in a row, and then we'll come back and do our closing.
Another letter from our listeners.
And again, you can submit your questions for us to answer at hashtag AskIndoob or send emails at indoobpod@gmail.com. Yeah. And I will be right back.
The Indoob Podcast.
Shannon, CG, Lauren, and Mel form the Nerds of Prey. A group of ladies bonded by comics, gaming, film, television, and fandom culture. Hang out with them bi-weekly as they dig into the very things that make them loud and proud nerds. Available on iTunes, SoundCloud, Stitcher Radio, and Google Play. Also, check out their Patreon at patreon.com/Nerds of Prey.
Hey, I'm Nick.
And I'm Victor.
And this is Megashine. Megashine is a queer, people of color weekly podcast, and we talk about anything from drag to comics to video games to
boys
and anything else in between. So if you want to listen to us, we're on iTunes, Stitcher, and SoundCloud, and you can follow us on Megashine Pod and Megashine on Twitter.
That's right. So follow us, talk to us. We'll be here.
And we out.
Hey there, friend. Enjoying this podcast production? I bet your sweet buttery face you are. I bet you're also thinking, how can I support this show and look awesome doing it? Aside from telling your best pal and all their kin, you can head over to Indoob.com, and 2 clicks later, after hitting the store tab, you'll find yourself with several fun and fancy swag brought to you by the fine folks at the Indoob Network and TeePublic. If you're a fan of Indoob, Food Fight, or anything under the Indoobian sun, you can find it plastered on mugs, hoodies, pillows, cases, bags, and of course, t-shirts. Hurry on over now, and you may catch a sale with all tees 30% off. Seriously, they have sales like every other week. So head on over to Indoob.com or teepublic.com. That's TEEPUBLIC.com and type Indoob in the search bar and continue to pod with the best.
welcome back to the Indoob podcast. April, thank you so much for being with us and hanging out with us. Do you have any shout outs or plugs or things coming up that you want to tell people about, or people to find you, or anything like that?
Sure. I don't need anybody else to find me. But I can tell you that on March 1st in LA for Oscars Week, I am debuting a multicultural media resource directory called Aquarel. So for 3 years now, I've been talking with Oscars So White about the problems of lack of representation of marginalized communities. On March 1st, I am debuting the solution. It's going to be an online database where creatives, journalists, folks in front of and behind the camera and the curtain can self-identify by race and sexual orientation and gender and disability and experience, and upload their reel and their CV and their headshot and all the rest of that stuff. And then studios and networks and theater companies and media outlets can say, you know what, I'm casting for a new film and I need a Latinx woman who's 25 years old and lives in Atlanta who is a makeup artist, and they will get that list. So very famously last year, Disney said, despite the fact that there are over 1 billion Asian American, AAPI people in this world, we can't find a Jasmine and Aladdin. They will no longer be able to say that once Aquarel is debuted on March 1st.
Nice.
Awesome.
That'd be great. Look forward to that.
Thank you for that.
Yes, thank you.
Good.
Courtney, do you have any shout outs, any things you want to people find you, blah, blah, blah?
Totally. So you can find me over on the Twitters, causing trouble per the norm. My handle's at IamKHinton, and I tweet up a storm from everything from Doctor Who to knitting to finances, personal finances to, Cloverfield. Sure. So, yeah, hit me up. You can also catch me over on Twitter at VerveHC, which is the Twitter headquarters of Verve House Collective. It's the place for, I've forgotten my whole, what is it?
For audacious creators and entrepreneurs that want to excel at life.
Yes. No, but that's it. So yeah, if you are an audacious, creative entrepreneur or intention seeker, vervehousecollective.com is your place. That is your people and that is your tribe. And catch it at Twitter or over on Twitter at VerveHC for some community support, motivation, all that jazz.
Great. And I forgot last episode, I'm saying it this time, I do have playlists on Spotify for people to check out and listen to. So look for the hashtag Indoob Plays. You can find my playlist, and you can also see which playlists I'm curating. Like, I'm not putting them public yet, but if you go on my Patreon, you can find them there and see what I'm listening to. And there's really no real theme to it. It's just music that I like, that I think other people might like too, but I like it and listen to it while I'm at work. And the first playlist for this year is almost over, or almost done. I think I'm going to wait until like mid-February and then make that one public and start a brand new one. I might have a guest make a playlist for me, or my co-host make one, maybe, if she feels like it. And we'll see. Also, you can find me at All Things Indoob. Just put that in Google. Go to the store, buy some mugs, buy some hoodies, t-shirts, fun stuff like that. Or if you're a guest, you might get one that shows up at your door one day. And but again, you can find me and the IndooPod on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Google Play, and Podbean. Thank you so much for supporting, listening, stopping by, and pressing play. Tell someone you value that you value them, and live for the folks you love. I've been your benevolent host, T. Sterling Watson, and remember, if the world didn't suck, we'd all fall off.
Podcast was recorded on planet Earth and is an extension of the Indoob blog found at indoob.com. You can subscribe and find more episodes on iTunes and indoob.podbean.com. You can also follow Master Sterling on Twitter at Indoob. I am not allowed. This is Bilford, signing off, and this has been another 3SFX production.
Use your words, Chief. Good boy.